Alright, it is Mad Cat here, aka the Rat Monkey, and I'm going to go ahead and explain a little bit of installation of ShowHealth. It can be in different ways. The problem is if you go into, you probably won't have all this, but if you go into interface, what happens is that a lot of mods use the same HUD menu SWF file, and they conflict with each other. One gets loaded before the other, or one, vice versa. So anyway, go ahead and go ahead to the Nexus page, and if you're downloading ShowHealth, go ahead and download that and open it. Put the archive into your Fallout data directory, which is Fallout 76, wherever you put it, and then go to data, drop that in there. And that's most of it just done. Just that's it. Um, Now, if you're going to be putting loose files into stuff, then it gets a bit more complicated. Um, if you are using Backer File Tool, then go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and show you a little tip to use. Um, Go ahead and go into Settings if you're using Backer, BAKA. Go ahead, make sure that copy files after packing is on, because will it goes into a temp file folder somewhere. Um, and you're gonna have to go through the log to find it probably, and then copy and paste it. Just check that after, make sure that it gets sent to your data directory on it itself. Now, by default, Backer is not checked with User Archive 2. It uses BAE, I believe, and BAE causes corruption and issues within Fallout 76. Doesn't read it very well. It compiles in a way that Fallout 76 doesn't like, so textures won't show up, sounds won't work, and a lot of things you need to go over. And click on Use Archive 2 for Fallout 76. You, I mean, that should be it. You might have to change your paths um, to change it to find your Archive 2 location. I just use my Fallout 4. I mean, it's still the same tool, um, and that should be it. You can compress identical files and share. You can check those are fine, and that should be good for Backer File Tool. Now go ahead with the installation video. I'm going to drop down that. You put the show health in there. Now you're going to go to your My Documents or Documents, My Games Fallout 76, and then you're going to go into your Fallout 76 custom. Now you probably won't have all this extra information in there. It'll probably just be archived in there. So you just go ahead and it'll probably look like this. If you don't have a Fallout 76 custom, I'm going to provide one on the mod so that you can download it and have all this in here. Now, please note that every time the game updates, Bethesda adds new patches, BA2 archives into uh, the game, and you're going to need to update this if it doesn't update itself and add those, and it's just, yeah. So let me explain a little bit what's going on and why certain things need to be loaded before and after, and yeah. So this is a startup archive list. Probably won't have icon tag in there. You might do, don't know, but you'll have the basic startup files, which causes I believe the things to load at the startup, the first archives that are loaded before everything else. It's probably a more technical explanation for that. S resource index file list is basically all the texture files that Bethesda has added, not added but came with the game. And then there is S resource archive 2 list. Now you can use the miscellaneous thing. I'm not going to go into that because that can be cumbersome and create a lot of issues and bugs, and some things won't get loaded in there. Best just to use the archive 2 list. Now what happens here is there is a limit of 18 mods, so you can only run about 18 mods, and then no more will get loaded. That's why we often use the Backer File Tool to put all the loose files into a single archive to get over that limitation. Now, what happens here is every time the game updates, Bethesda adds something, the patch archives to the archive2 list, and so it can get quite long, and this is the state it is at right now, where I'm highlighting. And it also loads like several things like the general meshes and just other meshes. And again, these are update files, which has been added. Now, I have about, I don't know, about 30 mods installed, a bunch of custom mods as well, and textures and stuff like that. That's why I use back archives here. But what will probably happen is you'll have this in there by default, or you might have some other mods like this on the end, or who knows. But at the end of this is where at the end of the update, the last patch or whatever official Bethesda file is in there, then you're going to start adding your mods. Now there are two ways to go about this. First way is to just put ShowHealth BA2 in there, and you're good to go if that's all you're using. If you're using Perk Loadout Manager, then it's going to be a little more complicated to install. So at this point, you can run ShowHealth like this first, and then you can put Perk Loadout Manager after. Now I'll explain what's going on here. ShowHealth loads first, or it technically should load first, and then a loader triggers within ShowHealth to then call for a Perk Loadout Manager SWF file that is within. But both of these two use the HUD Shockwave Flash, so they're going to compete with each other, and one might load before the other does. And so if Perk Loadout loads before ShowHealth, then ShowHealth won't come up. So the best way to do this is to let ShowHealth load, and then it will attempt to put a loader in after Loadout Manager's loaded, and it will load the files within Perk Loadout Manager. It might work the opposite way around. You will have to test it. You can put Perk Loadout Manager before ShowHealth and just see which one works the best. Just swap them around. It's kind of, I don't actually know the process in which they're loading, because sometimes it works one way and the other time it works the other way. So you'll just have to play with that and find out which one works best. All it is just changing things around like this. And just seeing which one loads both of them, where they both are compatible with each other. The text chat doesn't work because it definitely uses the same, as I explained earlier. It uses the same HUD menu SWF. And so what will happen is that they will basically override each other. There is code within both, and so they will conflict. The solution to that and creating compatibility is a lot more difficult, because Perk Loadout Manager does have a loader to its own SW file, whereas ShowHealth and TextChat doesn't. So then they are definitely going to conflict. And either way, one author, either myself or just needs to modify things a little bit, but someone is going to have to create a loader on either side and to load it into a separate file, and it goes both ways. So it's not all on me to create compatibility here for that, because both are using the same file and they both need to be modified in some sense or another. So yeah, that's definitely not gonna happening right this minute. I know text chat is useful. I don't use it personally because I'm more of a solo player that I don't really care for trading and chatting and finding out, talking to other people. That's just the way I do it, but I know a lot of people use it. I think Puck Loadout Manager was the more important to do. I'm pretty sure that more people are using PLM than text chat, hence the popularity of it and the more downloads it's received. So that was kind of a priority in creating a compatibility between those two first. And text chat, it's down the road at some point compatibility, but it's not right this minute. I do have a job, I do work, and um, I did previously I did create the Rat Monkeys easy sorting and tagging that I couldn't maintain anymore due to time restraints that I passed on, and it's being maintained by someone else now. Um, which I think should have been done. Most people should have done. I don't know what happened to the original author of ShowHealth, who started the mod and just abandoned it like months ago. Um, hasn't been active, hasn't replied. I mean, hope he's okay, that he didn't die or anything. There was a sudden disappearance. But if not, if he just abandoned it and just walked away, I just wish the office would pass it over to other people to maintain it. I had to create a new file and work on the mod. Um, yeah, so it's just that's it. So anyway, hopefully this installation video has helped. Like I said, I'm going to put this Fallout 76 custom without all the trash that I have in there and just the basics of it if you don't have one in there. But that's just the idea of how to install things into Fallout 76 as is, because of the way Bethesda is doing things. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this video here, and any questions, comment on here, or comment on the mod, or whatever you need to do, and let me know. Now, I'm gonna say that there are going to be bugs with ShowHealth. Most notably, the bugs that you're going to see are that some enemies will have the percentage and not the health numbers. Now, I'll explain why. Because each individual enemy has a dictionary is added within the SWF file. So, and the stats for them is entered in there. Now, some enemies that I haven't added yet, that have come through various patches, haven't been added yet. But because of my time restrictions and my lack of time playing Fallout 76, I don't have a lot of time to play it. Still haven't got very far in the game to the point of new content or explored new content. So I'm relying on you guys and girls or whatnot to be able to provide information on what isn't working, what enemies don't have their stats showing up, their health showing up, so that I can add that to the game, to the show health. So if you guys see something that doesn't, please write on the message, even PM me or put it on the bug reports and the mod or the comments section or whatever you need to do. Just give me a heads up and I'll start figuring that out. All right, so take care and have a good day, and yeah, I will see you around.